Jeremy Hill. How are you doing?
Doing solid, man. Got to watch some Tigers basketball last night.
What'd you think?
Man, it was shaky a little bit at first. I like how we finished it, but yeah, a great environment. The crowd, student section got a little rowdy, so yeah, it was a good atmosphere.
The student section has been very, very good for 3 games. That's as good as it's been in quite some time. When I was in school, the student section was down at midcourt, where most of the time it was historically. And then, there's some financial things that you need to work out, and people pay some good money for those tickets instead of the students getting in for free, so you move them around to the side. It really hasn't been a great spot for students, but they've been really good the first 3 games of the season. And last night, while I was down on the crowd last week and Friday, last night the crowd got into it. They sensed that they were helping the team. They sensed the Tigers were making a push. I think they sensed it was a pretty big win that was at stake there, and LSU obviously followed through and was excellent in a 74-58 win. So kind of give me your thoughts. For those that want mine, obviously I'll give them here, but Hoops with Hunt posted this morning anywhere that you consume your podcasts. Your overriding thoughts from the game.
Yeah, I just think just obviously our number one concern really bit the team early on. Guys just taking ill-advised three-pointers, just not running the offense, not running sets, not getting good looks, and kind of just coming down and jacking up a step back or pulling off a crossover and trying to get that 3 off. A lot of that early on, and I think when they settled in, you saw Days getting the rhythm, and I think he's going to be a ton of the offense this season. When he's cooking and when he's hot, the offense just flows better. Everything just looks better. And just quite frankly, he gets a bucket, probably the easiest out of everyone in that offense. So I think you continue to try to run the offense through Days, and I think the defense was there. A lot of effort, just crafty on the ball, a lot of full court pressure. Just got to close out on those 3-point shooters a little more consistently. But I like the effort that they gave last night.
For sure. Speaking of the offense first, and we'll get to defense, which is probably what more people want to talk about. But Liberty makes you play their style of game. It's something Virginia's had a ton of success with. We talked about Liberty's coach coming from Virginia. They just drag you down to their pace, and they force you to do things their way. And in the first half, LSU was 2 of 12 from 3. They had turned the ball over 7 times. And really, they were lucky to just be down 1. They should have been down 4, but Liberty misses a layup right there at the gun, and Pinson goes down and gets a bucket right there at the buzzer. But LSU couldn't do anything in the half court in the first half. 11 of their 25 points in the first half were in transition. Now, they created a lot of that with some steals. Gaines got his hands on a couple of balls. Days got a run-out dunk. You saw an incredible play from Tari Eason where he stole the ball, put it on the floor, went home and dunked it. But a lot of what LSU was able to get accomplished in the first half was in transition. And in the second half, they settled in and really did a much better job. But it was spurred by the aggressiveness and the tenacity on defense and their ability to make plays in space and speed Liberty up a little bit. LSU for the game had 16 steals. They turned Liberty over 25 times. And that's a veteran basketball team with Liberty that has won a ton of games and is not one to generally get rattled. And LSU just was too much for them aggressively. So this is what I was talking about preseason with this team. Yeah, sometimes offense is not going to come as easy as it did for Cam Thomas and Trendon Watford and Javonte Smart and Skylar Mays and Tremont Waters and all these guys that were such great offensive players. But these guys are a little bit better on defense. So it evens out. And LSU's held their first 3 opponents under 60. They did it again with Liberty last night, and they went on that huge run at the end of the game to get that 16-point win, which is really impressive against a Liberty team that's going to win, as Will Wade said after the game, 25 games.
Yeah, that was very impressive, and I think there were some stretches there where I thought McGee wasn't going to be able to get stopped, and I think you finished that game and you held him to 2 for 11 shooting from 3-point range. That's kind of why you pull away at the end. He was pretty much a lot for them, their offense. He was getting in the paint and really creating, opportunities for the big to come over and make those easy dump ball passes. But I think down the stretch of the game, they did a great job really keeping them out the paint, really being crafty in the passing lanes, forcing some easy turnovers, getting some easy buckets. And you saw Days kind of take over and get hot down the stretch and really put that thing away.
Second half was a game of runs. LSU started with a 9-0 run to take an 8-point lead, and you thought they might be able to stretch it. They played a really good defensive possession when they had an 8-point lead, and McGee got the ball with 3 seconds left on the shot clock and threw up a rainbow that splashed. And that kick started for Liberty a 19-4 run. They were draining threes. McGee, then you saw Peebles get loose. He made 3 in a row. And they stretched the lead out to 45-38 to a 7-point lead with 11 minutes and 53 seconds to go in the game. Trying to decide if I want to talk about this now or if I want to talk about this after we talk about the game. Let's talk about the actual game before I get into what made me so violently upset on the podcast this morning and what happened last night in the PMAC. But so they stretched that lead out to 7. Then they call charge on Gaines, and Wade gets teed up. And after that technical foul, LSU outscored Liberty 24-11 the rest of the way. So by 13 points. Over the last 7 minutes of the game, LSU was 7 of 9 from the floor, 4 of 5 from three-point range. They did not miss a free throw, and they forced Liberty into 5 turnovers. That is closing a game. That is embracing the environment that was created by the fans and playing your best basketball down the stretch in what Will Wade always calls these 6-minute games. LSU absolutely whitewashed Liberty at winning time.
Yeah, they definitely did. And I think the best adjustment I think I saw from Will, he started, running that full court press, making them work for everything. And obviously they do so much in their half court sets, making them run a ton of that shot clock to when they finally get in that, half court set. They don't have all day to run it. And I think you saw them having to, speed up their process. And that's when those turnovers start coming into play. And that's when you get those easy run outs and forcing fouls and getting to the free throw line, which I think we did a great job of. I think if we can continue that ball pressure, we got a ton of guys on the back end, Eason, Wilkinson. Those guys play the passing lanes very well, and I think, you got Efton in the paint now to, deter people from, getting easy lay-ins. The defense is going to definitely be solid. You see why they're holding people to under 60 points.
6 blocks in the game, 16 steals, as I mentioned. It was clinical on the defensive side, creating easy offense for their team. Another interesting fact, we talked about how big a deal Fudge was in Friday's game. He came off the bench 5 for 5. Knocked down a 3, got some rebounds. He was a big help in that game. In this game, he comes in, he gives you 12 minutes and is -8. While he was -8 when he's on the floor, missed his 2 shots, not really his day. But Tari Eason was awesome coming off the bench in 17 minutes. Thought he made some huge plays. And really, I loved Murray's minutes. 7 rebounds, hits the big 3 to give LSU the lead. It was a possession after I thought he had forced a 3 a little bit early, trying to feel the energy of the crowd. As a freshman who's out there in a run for the first time in a big game, you want to get the crowd going. You want to hit that shot, not necessarily the one you have to take. The next one he took on a kick out and buried it to give LSU the lead, and he's shot it a little bit better than I thought he might. So that I thought was really impressive.
Yeah, he definitely did. That's the type of energy that Coach Wade talked about before the season. Just guys coming in there, being able, if you're not, filling up the box sheet in the points department, go rebound the basketball, go play some defense, go get some stops. He filled up the box score every category, got a block, got a steal, just really making an impact on the game. And you can really look to plus minuses and really see what type of impact guys are making. And even if you're not making buckets, you can still, make an impact on the game.
Murray was plus 29 in the game, so that'll do it. Xavier Pinson, another guy I want to talk about at the point guard spot. 0 of 4 from 3. That's kind of what I thought we were going to. 7 assists while he's out there. Plus, he's running the show and moving that offense efficiently. So he's got more pass first in him than Javonte or Skylar. Definitely those two, and probably Tremont. Although Tremont was really good at getting in there and dishing, and so I won't go quite that far. But Pinson, he took the second most shots on the team. He took 12 shots, so it's not like he's not shooting at all. But he's got the ball in his hands a lot. I don't feel like he forced it too often. He took like 2 that I wasn't comfortable with. But that's the deal. Like they're not gonna play a perfect 40 minutes. What were your takes on Pinson?
No, I think he played hard. I think you saw him on both sides of the ball, giving full court pressure, playing defense. And then when he got on the offensive end, I thought he did a great job just getting in the paint. That was something that, with the way they were playing those pick and rolls and switching and, letting McGee take days, I think he was doing a great job really getting in the paint, finding guys. And he took a couple of advice threes,
There's a couple.
There's just a couple, but I don't think that's his game. I think his game is going to be breaking the defense down, getting in the paint, causing some, open driving lanes to dish the ball down to the bigs and kick outs to three-point shooters, and he does a good job of that.
And when I say you got to take the good with the bad with Pinson there, I want to harp on Gaines here for a little bit. Gaines has 5 steals in the game, which everyone knows is awesome. He's creating easy buckets. He's making things really tough on that Liberty backcourt, getting the ball into play and setting their offense up. And then he commits a foul 85 feet from the basket and gives him a 1-on-1 late in the game, about just over 4 minutes to go. And you're like, God, that's such a stupid foul. Don't do that. But you can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. You can't say don't play aggressive there. Oh, but really good job on those 5 steals playing really aggressively. I know there's a time and place for everything, and that was not a smart play. But if you're going to play at 11 on defense all the time and you're going to get 5 steals and put your hand in passing lanes and tip balls and do all the things that Gaines does, every once in a while, you're going to have to live with one of those. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah. And I think the way the game was going, it wasn't the worst time. It's not like it was a situation where you had a 1-point lead or something with little seconds left on the clock. It was plenty of time in the game to play aggressively the way they were, and I think that's what really saw the Liberty's offense really lose their rhythm and lose that flow that they had when they went on that run. They just had so much trouble getting the ball up the court. They had to call timeout one of the times. They couldn't get it up. So I think that's the type of ball pressure you're going to need from a game to really be the defense that you know this defense can be.
All right, anything else from the game before I blow a gasket?
No, you got it, brother.
Okay. If you listen to Hoops with Hunt, this is the 4th year we've done it. This is nothing new to you. If you don't, and you just picked us up on terrestrial radio, you listen to us in your car, you check us out on YouTube, none of the places where Hoops of Fun have been, this is not something you've heard me do maybe once or twice previously. It happens a couple times a year on Hoops with Hunt. It is incomprehensible to me that in a tight basketball game, an official can give that technical where he did to Will Wade. First of all, the official totally blows the call. Absolutely whiffs on the call, calls a charge on Gaines. It wasn't even close. Now, I'll give him a pass for that. That's really difficult to do. I don't want my reputation to be judged on whether or not I can tell block or charge when they're moving that fast. But he missed the call badly here. And that happens. You cannot compound that error when Will Wade does not come running off the bench, does not rip his wind shirt off and scream, does not interrupt the game. There's a timeout on the floor, and he walks 4 steps out there in the middle of his team huddle and says something the official doesn't like, and the official decides, I didn't like what Coach Wade had to say there. It hurt my feelings, so I'm going to give the other team 2 points. That's not how it works. You don't get to have your ego bruised because you did a terrible job and didn't like what the coach said in the heat of the battle, so you're going to get your feelings hurt and blow your cute little whistle. I cannot deal with it. Technical fouls are for fist fights on the floor and for coaches who are 20 feet out on the floor during the game and won't come off. That's what technical fouls are for. When I've lost control of this game, these guys are out of control and I have to rein it back in. They're not for, oh, coach, don't say that. That's mean. You're not being nice, coach. That's not what a technical's for. Not when the game is tight in a big spot. No, it's just not. If you think they're about to fight and you've got to, 2 players are going to fight and you got to get control of the game, fine. Not, oh, did you hear that? That was a bad word. You can't use that on cable television. We're gonna have to slap a T on him. It's just not. I don't understand the mindset. And it clearly comes with putting that whistle around and saying, I'm in charge here. It's my court, and I'm going to take control. It's a power move, and it's ridiculous. And they don't have to go to the press conference. They don't have to explain themselves. They just carry on with their game check and move on down the road. Again, I'm not going to be very critical of officials for missing calls. There are dudes out there that are big and fast and strong, and it's happening quick. And at times you miss it. Calling technicals and awarding points to teams in big games because you don't like what somebody said is insane.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I think fans, I don't know. I've met a lot of fans. It's really hard for me to point to one that showed up to a game to watch the refs. I really can't find a time where that happened.
Don't talk to TV Teddy Valentine about that, the old SEC ref who loves him some Teddy. He'll ham it up on the charge and block calls. He loves being on TV.
Yeah, man. Nah. I don't think people come to see that. You want to see the players play, and I think especially at that time of the game, LSU's fighting so hard to really make it, stop that run and really get back in the game, and you do that, and it was just I didn't like it. I did not like that.
7 minutes to go in a 3-point game. It's just unacceptable.
Yeah, I don't like it, and I think it wasn't even close. He didn't get in his face. I didn't see any. It was not that over the top. I don't know what he said. Maybe he said something over the top. I doubt I didn't hear what he said, but
there's nothing you can say. Just the official can just walk away. Just remove yourself. And if Wade chases you down the floor and dog cusses you, and we got to get the show on the road, give him a technical. When he's 3 feet off the bench and he's about to have his team huddled around, that's not the time. It's just that's enough. I've said my piece on it, and it'll happen again. It will happen again 1 or 2 more times this year. That was just the first one, and it's just I just hate it. It drives me nuts every single year.